Let's have a quick view of what the user experience is in Ganister. So first you get this welcome page where you will enter your login and password. We have the option to log in with other SSO using Gmail or LinkedIn or any enterprise single sign-on system. Let's log in. When you log in, you land on this dashboard where you get the activities. Let's translate this in English for now. The assignments, which are activities that can be given to you through a life cycle, a project, or anywhere in the system where you want to be able to give activities, assignments to a user. Then the recent items is the list of the last 12 items that you may have used. Here we just have a few samples. We don't have much data in this database yet, but this is a sample of what we can offer as dashboard elements like graphs. And any workflow where you would have a responsibility, you would get it here and you would be able to act on it from here. On the left side, you have the access of all the business items, and here we have one specific configuration where we have a certain amount of business item categories, and in each category you would have a certain amount of business items. This is completely configurable from one company to another. So let's dive in one of these listings. Here we don't have a lot of properties in this database, but you can see here that we have all the parts with images, states, version. You see here there are 3 digits in the versioning. This is something configurable from 1 digit to 3. The reference, the name, the description. You can change and move things around. It will be saved for the user. You can also do things like grouping if you want to group by version. Or by state. And we have a lot of features in these grids which we will cover in another video. So you have these images and or these items, and if you double click on one of these, let's take a top assembly, you have the detail of these assemblies. So here we have 4 subcomponents, 2 documents, and here we offer a number of results that allows you to quickly see what's in these tabs, so you don't have to click on empty tabs all the time. And here the full bit of material, I think we have just 2 or 3 levels here. And software, for example. On this form, you have here a thumbnail and a very configurable form which is also responsive. With different zones that you can configure, and some zones will appear folded on when opening the form. At the top left you have the version, and you can access older versions, and you see here it's 2.0.0. It shows that there are 3 digits for the versioning, but it's very configurable. You can just use 1 if you prefer. The lifecycle state, here this assembly is in draft, and if we click here we see that this is actually my demo user, and I am the manager and the user of this lifecycle, and we see that we are in draft, and the next possible state is in review. Because I'm the user and the user is responsible for this part when in draft state, I am the one able to move it to in review, to promote it to in review. If I need someone else to do some work before I can do this, I can, from the same interface, create an assignment and say, okay, this person has to do something for me. We'll cover this in more detail in another video. And then promotions is the listing of all the promotions that happened. Then we still have the log and unlock button, which allows you to be the only one to be able to edit it at some time. A save button, a save, unlock, and close. We have identities. This is how do you access this node. So there are different ways of accessing nodes. We'll cover this in detail in a specific videos about permissions. But you can access a node through groups, permission sets, and I'm actually logged as an admin, so I have access through this permission set to most of the parts. And we actually have a small visualization here that shows how do I get the highest access to this node. And this is all graph based. So as a demo user, I have manager access, which is the highest access possible to this node. And I can see here, this is available here. So if I remove this, I can see now that the highest role that I have on this part is still manager, but through these elements, through a group of administrator, that's my user, group of administrator, an access role that I have on permission sets for parts, and part as is linked to this. We have a timeline that shows everything that happened on the node, and we have a quick graph view which allows you to see all the connected items. You can filter this if you don't want to see everything around it. If you just want to see an ECO, you can see all these. And from this you can actually either expand by right-clicking or double-click, and it will open the other form. Okay. Then we have actions. These are two actions reserved for administrators. It's like technical actions, but you can add in the customization. You can add other actions. Changes, because the part is handled with an ECO. When you want to do a change, you have this action here that says you can add it to an ECO, and of course you can delete this part if it's not related, if it's not consumed by something else, and it is in a state that allows it to be removed. For some customers, we've had to have the capability of instantiating some elements, some assemblies, for example, if they are delivering some systems. So we have this capability. You can subscribe to updates on this, and that's pretty much it for most of the items. So most of the items have the same concept. You can customize, you can configure all these tabs here. If I get to a CAD file, so which is a document, I have here a specific form. You see that there is no thumbnail. You see that the versioning is just 1 digit, but the rest is pretty much the same. And if I double click on this file here, I get the visualization. If there is a viewable, I will get a viewable of this file. Okay, so we have a 3D viewer. We have a list of all the CAD files allowed. So this is a file. Let's get back here. The other thing that is interesting here is the capability to search for anything in the database. So let's say this is rover. We have quite a lot of thing called rover, but we can look for this, and we'll just click here, say rover, and you get everything in the database that has something containing the word rover. So let's say this is what I was looking for, this project here. I click on it and you see other UIs that we have. So for project we have a specific set of tabs. For example, these here, these 3 tasks are seen as again some sort of again is pretty simplistic Gantt view where you can actually have dependencies between tasks, but you can also see this task as list or even as a Kanban. You can create your own Kanban configuration by setting here the fields that you want if you're a manager of this project, and then move these cards from one column to another. And you can describe different Kanbans with different representation in these cards. Same task, but seen as different in different organizations. Also here, if you have specific users that you want to group your task with, you can group your task by actor, requestor, categories, state, and you will have as many state, for example, here that you have in the system. Apart from this, so you have the dashboard, the different things, so different node types. If you want to change the language because you may want to display something to a foreigner or another country, you can just switch here, and we are not maintaining yet all the languages, but at least we have the mechanism to allow you to do it. Alright, so this was a small overview of the main UI. We'll have more videos about how to configure it. We'll show also the G-file sync, which is a small piece of software that you have to have in your client to easily edit files on your computer from Ganister. So stay tuned for the next videos.